Assalamualaikum, my name is Nur Imanina binti Rasri. My matric number is 2021109589.
Hi, my name is Muhammad Syafiq bin Haris Hemi. My matrix number is 2021123697.
My name is Kairis bin Hisdi. My matric number is 2021109053.
My name is Muhammad Adil Arif bin Muhammad Ali. My matric number is 2021111255.
Introduction. A military government, often known as a military junta, is a form of administration in which the military holds political control. This government structure is an example of autocratic rule. After a military coup, a military government is usually formed. Military governments refer to the legal system that is subject to the personnel of the armed force. The military authorities took over the administration of common law under martial law. On the morning of February 1, 2021, members of Myanmar's democratically elected ruling party, the National League for Democracy (NLD), were overthrown by Tamado, the country army, who then put power in stratocracy. Meanwhile, the acting president declared a state of emergency for a year and announced that power had been handed over to Defense Service Chief Min Aung Hlaing. It declared the result of the November 2020 general election null and void. It announced the desire to hold new election when the state of emergency is lifted. The coup came a day before Myanmar's parliament was set to take the oaths of elected members in the 2021 election. Preventing this from happening, President Win Myint and State Advisor Aung San Suu Kyi, as well as ministers, their deputies and MPs were imprisoned.
Before we elaborate further about coup in Myanmar, it is important for us to know the geography of this country. Number 1, it is located in Southeast Asia bordered by 5 other countries. Myanmar is a Southeast Asia country bordered by 5 other countries, which is India, Bangladesh, China, Laos and Thailand, with a coast along the Andaman Sea and the larger Bay of Bengal. Move on to the number 2. It has a long stretch of the Kra Istmut, a peninsula shared by Thailand, Malaysia and Singapore. The country also has a long stretch of the Kra Istmut, a peninsula shared by 3 other countries, which I mentioned just now, Thailand, Malaysia and Singapore. Move on to the number 3, hilly country with many valleys. Myanmar is a hilly country with many valleys. It is also a mountainous country with ranges in the north, east and west. The Arakan Yoma Range, Bago Yoma Range and Shan Plateau are the 3 main mountain range. The Arakan Yoma Range has peak ranging in elevation from 915 meters to 1,525 meters. The Bago Yoma Range are a group of Loma mountains and hills in central Myanmar. Mount Popa at 1,118 meters is the highest point in the range. The Shan Plateau is located in eastern Myanmar and has an elevation of approximately 914 meters. Despite its small population, the Shan Plateau is Myanmar's primary source of sapphires and rubies. The end of civilian rule and reintroduction of military rule. The end of civilian rule and the reintroduction of military rule can be seen in the coup that occurred in Myanmar in 2021. Myanmar transition to democracy and federalism has been pampered by the coup, which also seriously impacted national health and human security. Number 2, COVID-19 and the coup. While the international community is fighting COVID-19 in this pandemic era, however, in order to fight for their freedom from oppression, the people of Myanmar had to fight both against COVID-19 and the coup. Number 3, Myanmar has been ruled by military nearly 60 years. Myanmar, which has been ruled by the military for nearly 60 years, maintains a democratic system that is tightly controlled by military general. Although Myanmar has a democratic system, it was created by Tatmadaw, the Myanmar Armed Force, in order to maintain their power. Number 4, caught attention by the world superpowers. The reaction of China, the Great Wall country, the country who has a good relation with Tatmadaw, a Myanmar armed force. However, China's reaction has been defending and it considered it is a Myanmar internal affair. Also, India, the Indian superpower's reaction is similar to China, though that India will not interfere in Myanmar internal affairs, but China will interfere in Indian internal affairs. Number 5, the coup in Myanmar. The coup in Myanmar was carried out by the President Win Myint, who was elected as the Prime Minister. He was elected by the people, and he was as long as the Myanmar government protects Indian interests in their country.
So my slide is about why military rules in Myanmar is wrong. In this era of globalization, it is common knowledge that the military has long been a major power in Myanmar since the country achieved independence in 1948. And since then, the power of the military government is getting stronger than there to govern the country and ensure national security, also for economic progress in Myanmar. This is so because for those who govern a country, they have the power and right to plan and organize a country according to their own wishes and are responsible for all management and administration in their country. So, why military rules in Myanmar is wrong? There are many reasons why military rules in Myanmar is wrong. Among the reasons for the strong military rules in Myanmar is that the Tamada army in Myanmar has strong support from the people because it is responsible for freeing Myanmar from the occupation that took place in the country. This is so because the people of Myanmar are indebted to the military for the freedom and independence of Myanmar. Therefore, the people of Myanmar firmly support and respect the military and do not object to their will to govern Myanmar for their country, as well as feel more at peace when the military govern their country. Next, among other reasons why the military power in Myanmar is strong is because this military power has ruled independently without the intervention of political parties since after their independence. This is so because Tamada has drafted a new constitution in 2008 without the involvement of any political party and stated to have public support from the Myanmar people there. In addition, one of the reasons why the military power in Myanmar is strong is because the constitution maintains military power in the government by giving 25% seats of parliamentary to military officers, and important positions are also held by the military. This is because the military maintains control over the resources of the petroleum and gas industry for a source of income. Thus, their strength in their power in Myanmar is evident. Therefore, due to this, their military power is getting stronger to prevent any reform pressure from within and outside the country. Alright, for the last, among the reasons why the military power in Myanmar is strong is because the military there continues to crack down on ethnic minorities demanding citizenship, right, and imprison individuals, activists, journalists, and politicians who oppose their power. This is so because, as we know, military has a firm nature and also a violent personality, so they commit their violence for the sake of their freedom and steadfastness in governing the country, so that there is no threat from any party there. Therefore, on anyone who tries to challenge and interfere with their power over Myanmar, they will impose action as well as punishment on their opponents.
Okay, for this part, I want to explain about the population reaction to military about the Myanmar city. Thousands of people in several Myanmar cities set up in massive rally for the second day in a row on Monday, 8 February 2021. Thousands of residents in several Myanmar cities came out to attend mass rally aimed at protesting and demonstrating against the military coup a few days ago. Part of what happened can be considered the latest waves of protest and demonstration in Myanmar in the decade. The protesters who attends the rally at the time changed slogan condemn the influence against the military in their country political arena. The slogan changed by the resident who attends the rally was, "We do not want a military dictatorship." Besides that, internet access restriction did not stop tens of thousands of protesters from flocking to key areas of Myanmar. Several social networks and portal sites are still blocked by the military. A global human rights body, Amnesty International, has condemned the ban on internet access for Myanmar population and described what the military has done as outrageous. Amnesty International also demand the immediate return of internet access. If it continues to be blocked, it will cause human right to freedom to be continued. In addition, thousands of protesters headed to the Sula Pagoda around the university. A protester at the rally said, "First, we don't want to return to military rules. We don't want to live in fear. Second, we want Suu Kyi's mother released because her detention was unfair. He said that Suu Kyi's detention was unfair. Some of them also said that about Suu Kyi. They say she is our true leader. She is the one only hope for our democracy. And if she died or anything happened to him, what will happen to us in our future? We desperately need him back. They desperately want Suu Kyi to be released because they consider her to be their only hope for democracy. Besides that, the people also staged demonstration in the second city of Mandalay and the southern city of Dawei. Next, the protest would not end and they would gather every day until his country was liberated from dictatorship. This is aimed to claiming the right to freedom as a citizen. The massive protest erupted on Sunday throughout to oppose the coup. One of the members of the assembly was a doctor. He said, "We professional, especially public service professional like a doctor, engineer and teacher, come out to show our unity in this and also the overthrow the dictatorship. They will steal the gathering to defend their right and expect Suu Kyi to be released again." Min Aung Hlaing promised to hold an election and would hand over the brush to the winner and the election commission would monitor it. He asked the people of the country to accept the true fact and not follow their personal feeling. It has indirectly the protester by simply saying that no one will be able to fight the law. Some areas have been increasingly tight, controlled with curfew enforced in some places in Mandalay City too, and other areas from 8 p.m. to 4 a.m. The gathering was also limited to small group of no more than 5 people. In addition, the Army General declared a state of emergency for years and also deployed the troops in the capital. Naypyidaw to control them. Majority of leaders of the powerful National Congress Party led by Aung San Suu Kyi as well as Republican President Win Yin have been under house arrest since the coup and the declaration of a military emergency.
Military junta officially came to power in Myanmar after the Tatmadaw armed forces arrested Aung San Suu Kyi in a coup in February 2021. Myanmar actually has a presidential system where the head of a state is also the head of the government. But in its political history, Myanmar has had several other royal systems due to coups, ethnic and territorial differences. Number 2, governed by the National Development and Security Council, which has ruled the country since 1992 and is led by a military junta led by General Tan Shwe. Since General Ne Win led a coup in 1962 that overthrew the civilian government led by UNO, the Burmese army has maintained dominance. Burma faced the problem of racial tensions throughout the British Empire rule until 1948. Myanmar culture like that is a neighbor based off Theravada Buddhist belief with local modification and addition. Military rule ended in 2011 and a civilian government took its place. Number 3, Tatmadaw took control of the City Hall area in Yangon on 1st February 2021, same date as the beginning of Myanmar new parliamentary session after the election held on 8 November 2020. At the same time, the world is still struggling with the very dangerous COVID-19 virus. However, in the early hours of the morning when the parliamentary session was supposed to begin, there was news that Myanmar Chancellor Aung San Suu Kyi and several other leaders of the National League for Democracy and LD were arrested by the military before being declared a state of emergency for a year.
Conclusion. People in any country do not like it when those who want to be in authority, or in other words, those who are will about ruling power, says around the reins of their country's leadership. However, this is what happened in a circumstance where the globe is dealing with a global pandemic, and the people of Myanmar are finding it difficult to accept what is happening. And on Monday, tens of thousands of people in many Myanmar cities came out in enormous march for the second day in a row to defend their country's sovereign right from being torn apart by the military. It seeks to condemn a military coup that occurred just a few days ago as part of what might be the country's largest demonstration in a decade. Furthermore, after the authorities cut down internet service in the region where the rally took place for a day, the individuals who were present at the demonstration were even more enraged. The military staged a coup against the government, claiming that there was no evidence that the election in November was rigged. Following this, the army commander proclaimed a year-long state of emergency and stationed troops in the capital, Naypyidaw, to maintain control. Since the coup and declaration of military emergency, a substantial number of leaders of the powerful National Congress Party, led by Aung San Suu Kyi, as well as Republican President Win Myint, have been detained in house imprisonment. Several countries, including India, Indonesia, Japan, Malaysia, and Singapore, have expressed alarm over the coup, which has mostly triggered talks between the government and the ruling military to settle the situation. The coup was condemned by Australia, New Zealand, Turkey, and United Kingdom, and the United States, who all request the release of the detained authorities. The coup perpetrators have also been threatened with penalties, according to the White House. Bangladesh wants peace and stability in Myanmar, and then repatriation of Rohingya Muslims will continue. Cambodia, the Philippines, and Thailand have publicly stated that they will not assist one side over the other, defining the coup as an internal matter.